Stars, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, you join me here, Snowman86, and we're on another episode of Cattle and Crops. And today we are just planting two fields, field, I believe it's 15 and field 14, and we are planting both these wheat. So that's the goal here. So we're just trundling along here. So the idea, we're just going to get these in before the main winter time, I suppose, guys. With the idea being that hopefully we can have more of a productive crop all year round. We're turning the wrong way there. So as I say, the auto steer does work this time now. It does correct itself. And we are going to be attempting to do headlands as well. So you'll see the different texture there. On the left is what we have we've just gone over and planted, and where we are now is cultivated. So you can definitely see the kind of the ridge effect that you will get from seeding. So again, nice detailing there. Now unfortunately, as you see, it is raining and it's getting heavier, but we are still able to plant here. Whether I know if you were doing it especially in September time, depending on how wet the ground was, we probably wouldn't be doing a whole pile more. So we'll lift it there, we'll do our turn. You'll see auto steer kicks in and we're away once more. So again, there has been improvements to the game since the previous update. We are currently running version 0.9.5, and with that came a slight improvement. They moved a lot of things over to the Tombstone engine, and that has definitely improved things. Even there, if you look at the draw distance here of the trees there to the left, again, quite impressive. It's really improved it. So long may that last. So we'll go around the shrub and we'll come down this line. Hopefully that will work out for us. So as I say, we're planting both fields with wheat. These two fields also have possibly the best fertilizer levels, nutrient levels in the ground, so we can just kind of work these straight away. The other fields will probably require us to spread some digestive on them. So we'll have to see what the best approach is to take with those fields. And also know that we can empty our seeder which we have only rinted again. So we can enter that seeder now, so we can save the seed we buy, which is a great thing. So anything we buy, we will be putting it into one of our grain bins or silos, and hopefully it'll see us through for a bit of next year's crop as well. So once we get down here, we will just kind of tidy up on the headland, pass down this side, one more run up the outside here, and then finish off the other headland, and we'll head straight to field 14, where it's more or less rinse and repeat. And what's interesting to note there, we're just going to jump out here quickly, and I'm just going to take a look, because I think what I think might be happening. So we're just going to stop up here, and if we just run over here, interesting, where we missed the strip with the cultivator, you can see it where it was, and it's kind of planted it but not planted it. And again, we've missed a bit here with the cultivator, so interesting to see that all of a sudden now you will have a bit more residue left on your field. I'm assuming this is a feature and not just a bug, but it was not cultivated. Small strips missed due to the GPS just being slightly askew sometimes. So it just seems to be where that was. We seem to have just a little bit of a mess. So we'll see how it looks when we plant it in. Fingers crossed it won't create too much of a hassle for us, but nice to see it. So we're just going to start ourselves off here, finish the field as I say, and we'll be heading straight to field 14. So if that is built in, that's a nice touch, I think, where you do have to kind of manage your crop residue more so than you might want to, or even think you have to. So kudos there. We're just going to try and make this turn for the bushes. Oh, it's a bit of an unholy mess here. Oh, you know what we forgot to turn off was the GPS there, so that's going to make it a bit more of an unholy mess as well. So we're back into it. Hopefully the seeder will pull clean out. And again, we can jump out and just quickly check it all. That should be us across the line on that side. Looks to have worked out there for me, I think. A little bit patchy in places, but not bad. Won't lie, definitely done worse, so we'll take that. So we're just finishing the last pass down the outside here, and as I say, we have one more headland to hit and then we are done on this field. So interesting, you can just see again as we come past here on the left hand side, just a little bit of maize residue left on the field. Interesting to see it. like the way the tractor kind of rides up over that little rough area as well, just a nice touch. So we're going to spin once more for our last headland, all going well. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to escape with these bushes, but we'll try. Just a little bit of a flattening. So we're just going to line ourselves up here, and we're going to enable our GPS again. So again, straight away we see a couple of tracks that were missed on the previous run with the cultivator, so definitely something we're going to have to watch out going forward, guys, just to make sure that all being all, we don't lose out on yield. So I'm thinking I should probably set it to 88, and I'll just bring it over to 30. So this initial track offset, guys, will just step your line across the field, and then if you are plowing, you can also use the implement offset here just to set that up. And down here then is your working width, which we are currently working on a 6-meter implement, but we've dropped it down to 5.8 just to try and eliminate any low overlap that we might see there as well. And if you were working in crop, this one down here will just lift your tracks up. So if you were working with maize and stuff, you could lift your tracks up to nearly 3 meters and you'd still be able to see your tracks. But we are not, so we're not using that, but a nice little feature there as well. And you can either use the hotkey or then this button to activate the steering, and you'll see the steering wheel now is kind of a little jittery, so we are active on that. So we're just going to enable our cruise control, lower the implement, and hopefully she'll track a line for us. And it's as simple as that. You can do it manually as well if you like. A little bit trickier without row markers and stuff, but definitely can be done as well. So the overall plan here for us as we round in out of year 2 on the farm here is we just simply, as I say, getting a couple of things into wheat. Want to see how that kind of plays out for us. Just going to lift up here now as well, and if I hopefully don't make a mess. So the plan for us is to hopefully make the farm kind of more profitable, I suppose, generally, and also looking at, is the cereal crops in the game really worth it, or is it more of a maize and beef operation is what you should be looking at. So we're going to plan to kind of varying results here. We're going to do a couple of wheat and a couple of barley and 1 or 2 rye as well, and we'll just be able to compare. Hopefully, obviously we won't be able to get an exact comparison, but we'll try and keep the acreages the same that we plant. That way we'll probably get the best all-in reference. So we'll try and keep it like 3 hectares across the board, we'll say, of wheat and so on, and then we'll sell that, possibly look at baling it as well to see is there money in straw even. So lots of different avenues here we can try, while also producing enough maize to keep our cattle alive. We cannot forget about that. and whatever we've left over again we would be selling at the BGA. So far the BGA does make a tidy profit. We've left quite a headland here this time for us. So bear in mind it does take a couple of seconds for the auto steer to kick in once you've released the steering wheel. If you hold the steering wheel it won't, so just keep that in mind as well when you're plotting your routes. Probably not doing the best job of it here myself, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm interested to see what happens with those stalks. You'll see it here again on the right as we pass down. Will they just stay kind of fallow, or weeds come there? Interesting to see. Not sure if there is a weed system implemented in this game. Oh, that's our turn. Nearly missed it. Yeah, I haven't seen any yet, but that's not to say I haven't seen anything in the update files about it or logs. So don't think it's there just yet. But there's definitely some nice features that make in-cab driving definitely a feature of this game. I think something about Cat and the Crops here just appeals to me in the cab. Can't flick to the outside. So this is your outside view. And again, the noise level you'll have noticed it's picked up a little bit as well. And you can see we're going to make a pig of this now. We're going to try and go up and around the back. It's probably not going to work out. Aiming for this one. So you'll see we are quite long. So that's obviously where we made our mistake there in the first couple of passes. We were lifting a bit too soon. But again, you can see the texture work here, just nice. Will be nice if there is a small kind of modded seeder that comes out for the game. I think we'll definitely be looking at purchasing that if it does come out. One that will enable us not to have such a big gap towards the headlands and stuff there, and lint of operation. To make working these smaller fields definitely more manageable. So we'll keep an eye out for that. We're just going to jump back in the cab here now. And just so you know, the views there, I have them set currently to a hat switch on a joystick. So I have my left, right and rear view set to that hat button. So definitely a nice feature. Also something that I've noticed you can do with Cat and Crops as well is if you have a throttle slider or something like that, you can set your rear lift onto that slider, and then you control the depth of your implement into the ground. No great function to it, more so of a gameplay thing, I suppose. If your styling is like that, I do have it set up, and we might show it here quickly on the end. We might jump over to a cultivator, and we'll hopefully be able to demonstrate it. Knowing my luck, it'll be the one time it doesn't work as a feature. But definitely, if you're in for the more realism and realistic side of it, definitely been able to set the... we need to turn that off now again. It's going to wreck our pat here on the headland. Definitely being able to set your arms on a slider is a nice feature. Probably doesn't have much use now, but further down the line, I'd imagine, the question where we're going here, but further down the line, I think definitely has the potential. Oh, I think we might have just touched our crop. So we're aiming for this little cap, and I think we might have just about done it, taking the longest possible route to get there. So we're going to have to make a second run at that, and I'd say I've done a fairly good job of butchering the first run, so hopefully we can clean up the second one just a little bit more. So we are on the road before we can even make our turn there. So we have a couple of tram lines there. We're just going to jump out quickly and see how much of a bad job we did there. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Not the best work I've done. We seem to have cut a tram line straight across there on the headland, and for some odd reason we haven't planted a good section on this area here. Not sure why. Hard to tell. Is that planted? Is it not? Don't think it is, but we'll see on the growth stage. So I thought by bringing the seeder back over it we should have covered those lines, but I'm guessing I was wrong. So we're just going to enable our GPS again, and we'll finish out the last couple of passes here. Not much left in it. As you can see, we missed a good bit, so I think on the rest of the fields we'll just have to make sure that we don't I suppose close in our lines. I think we're using a 4-meter cultivator. Excuse me, 4-meter cultivator, so we'll have to definitely ensure that we close that in a bit. Might run it on 3.6 just to make sure we don't have this overlap on the rest of our fields. Hopefully we don't make such a bad job of the headland on this side. No guarantees though. Just to be on the safe side, we're going to drop in a bit sooner as well, and maybe not leave all that rooting and tearing on it, just in case there might be still a couple of issues with planting fields the way we're trying to plant it. And what's good about the game is those tracks through the field here on the bottom will be here all the way through into harvest. So it will make it interesting even for the combine. We'll see how much of a hollow we've created by leaving them there. So we're just going to start to whip by the tree. Again, we're just going to have to go around that. Can drive through them if that is your thing. Ooh. Nearly got caught out there. Forgot I had disabled the steering. That would have almost been embarrassing. We would have just driven straight across the field there. Glad I caught that one in time. Normally I don't. So as you can see, it doesn't seem to be an exact science with the GPS. There is a lot of room for error or play. So if you do become reliant on it, just bear that in mind that it might act up on you. So we're just going to sneak down here on the outside and hopefully be able to hit our headlands. A little bit of crushing of bushes. And I'd say we snagged the fence. And we did. My concern for bushes, and we ended up just catching the fence. That'd be a nice bit of damage if we were paying for it. So I think if we go down here, we should be able to turn around these trees. One thing I'm interested to see is how they do it for people who like to expand their fields. Will they have a similar feature that we've seen in farming sim, where we're way down, where you could just plow and create the texture you wanted? It will be interesting to see how they do it. We've missed a lot of that section, but we'll drop in here and we'll do 2 passes, and hopefully we're not destroying the field by doing these 2 passes. Famous last words, we could be leaving some terrible lines there. In fact, we'll jump to the outside. Thankfully on this one we seem to be covering, and I think I spoke too soon. So from what it looks like there, it's where you've seeded. No, I think it's just depending on what the unit wants to do itself. It seems to have a mind of its own. So I think we're going to end up leaving 2 passes here. So I think in future, for the short term anyway, headlands are definitely out when it comes to seeding. We can probably still do them when cultivating, but I think for seeding headlands, as you see, we're just creating a track. It doesn't seem to want to reseed where we've seeded. We're going to claim that's the case. So we'll see how much we've lost out of all that. Now we gotta try and get ourselves out of here. So we're just going to lift up, and we're just going to have to give all of that. But as we've learned there, headlanding not the greatest at the moment. We do have a little strip down here, and we're just going to drive outside the boundary now because we're not that should see us through. So just going to lift up, shut it off and fold it up. Hopefully that's the fold button. It is. And we're just going to load everything here into one of our silos, so at least we'll have wheat seeds for later in the season, in the spring, depending on where we want to plant it. And our other tractors here, so we're just going to quickly pop out, handbrake on, do an old 1-2 swap-roo. So just a little bit stuffy there, not sure what that's about. If it's building related. So what we're just going to do here quickly while we're in this and we have the option to do it, we're just going to get some bit of a side view here and we're just going to play with the lower. So I'm now just slowly lowering my slider and I stop and I lower again and we're all the way down. Now we can do the same for going up. We're up, I've stopped. We can go up again, stop, and bring it all the way up. So nice little feature that you can just adjust your link arms with the slider, and that's just laying it all the way down. So for those, again, as I say, who like the extra little bit of control and realism, definitely a feature to look at. Don't know why it shot out a bit of fertilizer there, but definitely one if you're into the extra bit of, I say, for me it's more a little bit more realistic that you can kind of control your link arms. So definitely one to watch. As I say, a small feature but could have a nice playable throughout thing. We're not sure, can we unload this thing? Interesting, we didn't get the option to unload. Fold up, seeding system, fertilizer system, empty tank is grayed out. So maybe we can't store seed? I'm gonna have to go check that out. So on that note, guys, I think I'll leave it here. We'll have to go check that out and see if we can save the seed. I think, what do we have? Oh, we have a lot of seed. So we need to just check that out, make sure we can store that somewhere. So with all that being said, guys, I've been Snowman86. This has been another episode of Cattle and Crops. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again, guys. Take care.